I don't know if this will sound creepy to you, but it terrified me for some reason. Once, I saw a square in my office when I was at work. I don't know the right name for my job in English, but I'm a personal chief at a company. I also do some things on the side for them when there's nothing for me to do. That day, I was working on an app for the company's employees to use. Just 20 minutes working on Android Studio. Start feeling weird, kind of how your body feels when you're in a place with very loud music. Like a metal concert or something. This goes on for at least 10 minutes. Think, I may be tired. Decide to stand up and walk around the office. I stand up and I see this weird thing. It was a gray square thing. It was small, about 30 centimeters tall. Its texture looked like a tarp, and the thing was perfectly square. Not a cube, a square. It had a shadow too. I look at it for a moment, and for some reason, I start shaking. I feel like I need to run away from this thing. Then it just slides into the corner of the room and disappears, going through the brick wall. It looked like it was clipping through it. I never seen or heard anything like that before, or since. I've only told a couple of friends. Be 5th grade me was the weird kid. Had supernaturally great luck at predicting the future. Fancied myself a psychic. Was very dramatic and cringy about it. Had this cringy act where I told people who didn't ask shit about my dreams. I dreamt that someone here gets really sick today. Later that evening, someone does barfs in class. Surprisingly good at it, like 3/4 accuracy rate. Get a following, which I realized later in life was just people who came to gawk at my cringiness. One night, I get a really violent dream. Adult man gets out of bed, wife is sleeping, gets knife from kitchen, and turns off every light in house. Goes to kid's room, stabs one sleeping son on neck, and then stabs the other one in the neck. Returns to bedroom where wife is still sleeping, and slices her neck too. Gets in the bathtub, slices his neck. The dream wakes me up. It's 4 a.m. That morning in school, I don't talk about my dreams. Never do so after that, and no one asks shit. A few days later, principal comes to class with the guidance counselor alongside. Tells class that one of the kids from the class hasn't been coming because he and his brother died. Best friend of the kid asks how they died. Counselor only answers, in their sleep. Get a gut feeling that I already know what happened. I do end up finding out the truth later on in high school. Googled the dead kid's name. It was a murder-suicide. Father kills 2 children and wife, and then himself. The only sources don't mention any weapon or anything relating to the tub. I still do get predictions in my dreams, but nothing on that scale. Sodak 1990s, stormy night. Lightning illuminates what would have been a completely dark landscape. Father's driving out to visit my grandmother and help out on the farm. Storm gets fierce, can't see good enough to drive. Unfortunately, he's still a ways from the farm, but he's also a good distance away from anything. Literally anything. Just miles and miles of flat prairie. Through the heavy rain, lightning illuminates a windmill overlooking a small barn, off on the right. My dad thanks his luck and pulls off the road to take shelter from what he assumes is going to be a nasty hailstorm. Waits for lightning to illuminate windmill, and sure enough, crack. He takes off for the shelter of the barn. Once inside the barn, he hunkers down. Storm gets worse. Ends up sleeping on the floor, safe from the hailstorm erupting outside. Morning the next day. Car windows blown in by hail. Had he been in the car, he would have taken a beating. Brushes glass off the driver's seat and pushes on towards my grandmother's. Helps and whatever. Talks to my grandmother about the barn. "What barn?" she says. "The one just west of here, on the right side of the road." "Oh, you must have been mistaken. There's nothing in that direction till Pierre. Sure as shit, on the way back home, my dad passes where the barn should have been. Only a foundation stands. A few smashed pictures of a couple long dead rot in a pile of rubble. Did some research. Found that the owners of the barn died in 1956 when the barn collapsed in a snowstorm. In high school, after school, everyone is at art show. Sister and I are hanging out in an empty art classroom. She takes out a sandwich that she didn't eat at lunchtime. Takes a bite. Meh, I'm not hungry. Puts it back in her bag. A bit later, decides she wants the sandwich again. Searches through bag. Sandwich is nowhere to be found. Dumps out entire contents of bag. Pats self down. Sandwich is gone. On the bus ride home, we decide that she might have thrown it away and just forgot. Arrive home. Both head to sister's room. From the doorway, we can see that the sandwich is lying in the middle of her bed. Same type of sandwich, cut the same way, same exact bite taken out of it. Both run out of the house, simultaneously screaming and laughing. Her bag was some kind of sandwich wormhole. I don't know. Few years ago, be in my bedroom by myself. About to light a cig. Drop lighter. Didn't bother paying attention when I dropped it since I was standing directly in front of my bed. And I was expecting to find it lying there, or hear a noise and find it on the ground. No noise happens. Ignore it and think to myself, it'll be there when I look. Turn around to grab a glass of water, take a sip, and turn back, expecting to see lighter somewhere. But it's nowhere to be found. Flip entire room upside down looking for lighter. Spend at least an hour doing this. No lighter to be found. 4 years later, be cleaning room and changing where furniture is placed. The same lighter is lying in the middle of the room, on the floor, on a very clear place where I've been cleaning and passing the vacuum for years. No explanation except maybe a tiny vortex opened in my room, and my lighter went through and returned ages later. Things like these happen to me every once in a while. Things like, get home, put down keys on counter exactly where I leave them every single day. About to leave, go get keys. Keys, not found. Look everywhere. Check counter at least a dozen times. Say out loud, give me back my keys. Go check counter. Keys are there. Fucking beings playing mind games.jpg. I can contribute some OC to this thread. Hopefully not too shitty. Be out hiking by in the Mongolan. It's the summer, so the whole area is a little bit dry and sparse. A hell of a lot better than the valley, but not exactly comfy. Come across a beautiful green meadow. Greenest patch of grass I've ever seen growing in Arizona naturally. Bunch of flowers growing. Not much of a botanist, but it's blues and red, not just the standard desert yellows. I'm absolutely awestruck. The greens, the cool breeze, the lovely smell. I can't resist stopping mid-walk to rest a bit. Sit under a tree, and to my surprise, I actually start dozing off. It's really hard for me to fall asleep, struggled with it my whole life. I've actually been having some trouble sleeping on this whole camping trip. So this is a godsend. Decide to just go with it. Wake up a few hours later and go back to camp. Weather stays beautiful for that night, and despite the nap earlier, I sleep like a baby. Get up early the next day, start packing up. Head home. Trip is comfy but long. Just listening to the radio. Time doesn't seem real. The radio starts playing songs that I loved as a teenager, but never got that popular. Oingo Boingo hits mostly. I feel like I need to stop, but I can't figure out why. Gas meter is staying full. Radio is playing great tunes. I don't feel hungry, thirsty, or sleepy. Suddenly, radio gets staticky. Can hear a voice in the background, but I can't tell what it's saying. Interrupts the moment enough that I realize how weird this seems. Gas gauge hasn't gone down even a tick. Not a single radio ad has played, but I've been driving for hours. The static goes away, so I fiddle with the knob trying to figure out if I can tune into it. All of the channels are the same, with the same music. Changing button does nothing. Creeped out enough that I hit the power button, but the radio doesn't stop playing. Static hits again, and I can make out a voice saying, "Anon, you are not awake." Suddenly realized that I never woke up earlier. This has all been a dream. Wake up in that field from before, starving, with my mouth bone dry. My skin hurts. Sun's been shining on me for hours. Got blisters on my nose. The field's still there, but I can see that the flowers are all growing from dead things. Elk and deer and bears, all covered in flowers, just rotting out in the sun. Smells so bad my body tries to vomit, but I'm too dehydrated to do anything but gag. Feel so weak. Head is pounding. I'm starving, but the thought of eating makes me feel sick. Take some little sips of my now hot water bottle and stagger back to my camp. Just focusing on getting hydrated first. Then try to get some food in me. Skin is too sunburned to stand more than a breeze. I'm not sure how long I spent in that field, but it must have been a long, long time. Managed to pack up my shit and head back. First station I get to, I head in just to ask what day it is. Apparently, I spent 2 days in that field. I don't know how much longer I would have lasted out there before the desert cooked me. Still not sure if that was some kind of weird predatory plant or a haunted clearing or what, but I still get a little nervous when I see wildflowers. Any other security officers on X? Watching monitors of security cameras and performing late-night patrols in dark hallways. It's the sort of job that leads to, at least, a few paranormal stories. I'll share mine. Be me. Work in nuclear security at a power plant. Night shift. Assault rifles for the win. Positioned in bullet-resistant position by intake. Lake is completely still. Lighting is shit and flickers often. Fog comes in off the lake. Turbines make low noise. Whole area is creepy as shit. Position includes a monitor, so the officer can watch a security feed of the other side of the intake building. Shitty power supply makes the monitors shut off frequently. Yes, even at a nuclear power plant. Monitor goes black. Hit the reset button. Image reappears. Notice something out of place. Dark figure standing inside fence line. Call from alarm station. Received alarms on all zones at the intake. Nope.jpg. Panic and reach for rifle. Turn around, and figure is gone from screen. Go outside and walk patrol after partner arrives. No sign of anyone else. I'm a supervisor in the alarm station now, so I don't have to sit in that position anymore. But for months after that encounter, I traded posts with anyone else willing to sit in there. Told this on here before. It's more weird than scary. Sunday morning, in bed. Mobile rings. Girl, around 5, on the phone. "Hello, Granddad." I explain that she has the wrong number. Hangs up. 2 minutes later, phone rings again. "Hello, Granddad, it's me." Tells her again she has the wrong number. Hangs up. Phone rings again. "Granddad, stop messing around." I laugh. Tell her it's a mistake. She says, "No, you are my granddad." She drops the phone and starts talking to someone in the background. "Dad, Granddad won't talk to me." She comes back on. "You are my granddad, Richard." My name is Richard. What the fuck? "You sound like my granddad." Guy takes the phone off of her and starts to talk. "Hey, Dad, are you okay?" I explain to the guy it's the wrong number and all a mistake. Guy sounds worried, says, "Okay, Dad, I'm coming around." Huh? Hangs up. I thought I was being pranked, but nobody owned up to it if it was a prank. Fucking weird. I rang the number the next day, but it was a dead line. Being about preschool or kindergarten. It's the middle of the night. Here's something. Me and my brother shared the same room. I get up and walk down the hall. I look down the stairs. I see my dad walking down them. I say, "Dad?" I look over to the right where my parents' bedroom is. I see my mom and dad sleeping. I walk back to my bed and go back to sleep. Next morning, I told my brother what I saw. He said the exact same thing happened to him that night. Also, my brother is 3 years older than me. About 19 years old, I have a dream about my grandma. We are sitting down having a normal conversation. She puts her tea down and looks at me. I sense that something is wrong. She says, "Honey, I'm dead." I wake up with tears in my eyes. I go out to the living room so I can tell my mother my dream. She has tears in her eyes and a phone in her hand. I asked her what was wrong. She told me that my grandmother passed away. I break down and I tell her my dream. She tells me that she's had that happen with her grandmother when she was about my age.